Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Okay guys, I'm on the test server here. We're able to see a sneak peek early on of the new bastion. We got the new event dungeon in. Surprise, surprise, that bad boy is freaking hard. It's really hard. I'm going to show you some of the testing that I've been doing so far and try and give you at least some direction around how to deal with this bad boy, but it is tough. Before we get into it, we've got a couple of other changes. So we do have a new quality of life change, which I think we desperately needed. If you look at my oils up here, 68,000 of the small stuff, only 500 and then 500 of the medium ones. So basically, I'm always running out of the big ones and I've got tons of the small ones. So thrown in this oil mixer. Now this is where people are going to get sad because it is expensive to use, right? So obviously I've got a ton of just small oil here. So easily, if I wanted to actually rebalance my account to the proper sort of numbers, I'd probably be somewhere like this. I want to make 56,000 of my oils into greater ones. That's going to cost me 28 mil. Obviously, look, I've got a ton of this stuff, but that's because I farm the Sand Devil a decent amount. Like upgrading your gear is almost essential if you're trying to do later game content, and it's a good way to just boost stats on your account. So bam, 28 mil gone. And then I'm like, well, I want to rebalance this stuff as well. So probably I'd want to do about half of it, maybe not quite so much as that, but something like this. So probably to rebalance my account is going to cost about 34 mil. I don't know if my accessories are quite as out of sync as that. Let's have a quick look. So we've got the extract mixer here as well. I mean, yeah, it's kind of obviously nowhere near as extreme because I don't farm this anywhere near as much. But if I was rebalancing my account, it's probably something like that. So for my account, it's probably going to cost somewhere around 30 to 40 million silver to rebalance the numbers. Obviously, it's an extreme view of it, but that's the reality here. It's a new silver sink in the game. But I do think it's a good addition to the game. So let's not all be moany about it. It could be moany about part of it, but it is actually an addition I think we wanted, right? So anyway, that's in now. Let's show you this event dungeon. So I've been trying my hand at the final stage. You can see at this point, I was like, shall I just start recording? Because I've tried a bunch of things already and some things have kind of worked well, some things have not. But I figured if I show you some of the testing that I'm doing, at least you guys might get some inspiration for teams that you want to form. But it is hard. So I'm going to show you first where I started here. And that was, can I just clear the wave? The wave of enemies. Can I get these dead so that I just have to focus on the boss? And honestly, what did I end up with? I ended up with something like this for just clearing the wave. So I was like, I think this was enough. Let's just check. So basically, I was like, right, let's block debuffs so that I don't get feared. Fear was annoying here. I then have a speed tune going so that the enemy gets some debuffs away. I drop defense and weaken, and then I sear, rip off the buffs, and ultimately I kill the wave. In fact, one just about stayed alive that time. Let's just try that again. I'm pretty sure I cleared the wave with this exact squad. Maybe I didn't land my drop defense here. I'm not sure. Just see. Okay, full wave clear, right? So pause a second. Full wave clear with basically a sear nuke. Yeah, and it makes sense. That's something we've been doing for a long time. As soon as you've done that, Kurosa will change form and she brings an insane amount of damage in this form. So she basically unleashes these bone armor hits, which are, I think, bone armor is true damage. If you look at her kit here, she's got a 6-star blessing with bone armor on it. So if we check out what that means, the Ward of the Fallen here. So it starts with the stacks of bone armor. Can have up to 3 stacks. Deals bonus damage to each enemy hit by this champion. The number of times bonus damage is inflicted on each enemy target is equal to the number of dead allies. So she's obviously, because I've cleared the full wave, she's hit me with 4 smacks. Bonus damage is proportional to this champion's attack, which must be freaking high. And yeah, in essence, because she's 6-star here, she starts with 3 bone armor stacks. and basically does hella damage to us. So she's doing, like, that was about 40k, basically true damage coming in here to my squad. So that's a problem. Okay, so clearing the wave, I feel like it's going to be the way to go, because if you die with a burn on you, with Volcanus alive, you get block revived. Even, actually, not even if he's alive. If you die with a burn on you, then Volcanus' passive will block revive you. If you let Hefrak hit you, you will be dead. Okay, so these two are problems. You've then got, between the boss and Mortu, a lot of fears and true fears. So kind of like the next thing that I kind of went with was, well, maybe I can just deal with the fears and stuff with Shamao in the team. And then maybe I can bring some damage here with Newt. And I was thinking, yeah, this might be a way to go. So similar vibe to what we've just seen in terms of wave killing. Now I'm not picking up fears. Shamao obviously is blocking there a bunch of stuff. We still get a drop defense and weaken out, and then we nuke the wave. So obviously with more people in the team, the nuke is stronger. We remove those fears so that I've got some sort of control of the fight. So Shamao's doing work. But yeah, basically same result. Somehow she stays alive, but anyway, I'm dead. So Newt actually got 0 value there. So then I was like, well, maybe I can. This is my thinking, by the way. I was like, well, maybe I can just take Newt out and, you know, bring someone in who's going to, I guess, at least heal my team. So I'd want him in this spot. Heal my team as we're taking damage. So I guess the cheaper version is Vogoth, right? Cheaper version is the Vogoth, but anyway, I had this guy sitting here waiting to go. See more buffs available right now, but don't need them because we've seen how much damage we already do. We're taking hella damage at this point, honestly. But yeah, smack. And then true fears get wiped off. Great. But we've still taken a lot of damage. I mean, it's incredibly dodge, right? So this second form is just nuking the hell out of us. So it feels like you can't really let her go into that second form. Okay, so the second form is a real problem. And then if we look at the sort of boss guide here around why she does it. So where is it here? Instantly transforms the champion into their alternate form when their last living ally is killed. So there is something to say, try not to kill everyone. Yeah, if you could just keep one of the allies alive. I don't even know which one I want alive, honestly. Probably Mortu. Like, Volcanus is a nightmare. Hefrak is a nightmare. Withir is not that bad, but she does heal for quite a lot. So it would make the fight very slow. But I think there's something to say. Maybe you just try and take down some of the ads. Yeah, so it might be that's a strat that we explore as well. I'll show you the kind of next strat that I've been exploring more recently. So I've been looking at double... I don't think I've got saved as team, actually. I've been looking at double crowd control, speed tuned. So I've had Gergo, really good option here for crowd control. I've tried the Archer, but she will weak hit against Hefrak now and then. So good option, but gave me some problems. I ended up using Dressure. I still had my Newt in there for some damage. And then I had you, and I kept that Shamao tactic going. Because now we're going for a longer fight. We're not going for an insta-kill here. We're going for a longer fight. So within this, I was like, right, freeze first. Okay. She cleanses the freeze off, or any debuffs off. So I then need to speed tune so that my next crowd control comes in before Hefrak hits. Okay, so that's important. And obviously we need to be basically Void Affinity or someone who does crowd control without it being a hit-related thing. So we then go AoE Provoke on the full enemy wave. And now I've basically got this routine of crowd controlling the enemy. I've got basically Uko in here who is able to do, like, rip these buffs off so that the boss doesn't have increased attack on and none of the enemies do as well. You can see how fast Hefrak is, though. Hefrak is, like, hella fast. And then we're basically just using our different forms of crowd control, cycling them. But I'm taking a lot of damage. We get decreased attack on here with our newts. And then I'm back to my freeze, see, before they have another turn. So this felt like it's got some legs. I've got a reflex set here on my Gergo, so I'm just literally A1 in or A2 in. A1 in here just to keep that going. And yeah, this feels like there's some potential to it. But you have to get cooldowns because otherwise you're not going to get back to your freezes and stuff in time. And, you know, you could be in trouble, right? And in this setup, I don't have a healer, which is a massive problem. I don't have a healer. For some reason, I've got heal reduction on this guy. Where did that come from? Maybe it was, did Mortu get a turn? But I am kind of relying on cycling Gergo a lot. Keeping the ads alive is good. It means that we're not getting the alternative form there. But yeah, see that. As soon as we've lost crowd control, which I was just about to get another turn off here, basically the fight becomes a problem. So I get my crowd control back. Got resisted over here, and I've got a lot of accuracy. I'll show you the builds in a sec. And it's slowly falling apart. And obviously, right now I'm manualing as well. So this isn't a fight that we want to manual. But yeah, everything starts to get a bit ropey. And there's probably an argument to say, is Shamal good enough to be in this team? But the amount of fears and stuff he's wiping off is actually pretty insane. I guess with that, I'm just wondering, actually, thinking it through, because Shamal does good work. He should be there. Shamal does good work at pushing Termita of the leader. I kind of want this accuracy, though, but I'm just wondering if I was pushing Gergo would be better. Also, the provoke here means I am actually taking damage, and even the A1 from Hefrak is so damn hard. So it might just be that you're better off bringing more like a solid crowd control. Let me just have a think here. So ideally Void or someone that does crowd control like hard CC. So freeze or stun are the two that I would look at. I mean, it could just be Yakal, you know. So Yakal, trouble is he's quite squishy, but Yakal is on a 4-turn cooldown. Cannot be resisted against people with high turn meter, but we do have a decreased speed here as well for the boss. Could be interesting. So it could be like a Yakal replaces him, or honestly, any of these other ones that do a very like guaranteed crowd control. So, you know, someone like Creodan here on a lower level might be enough, right? So it's on a 3-turn, but this kind of like 65%. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Ninja, we're all going to have actually. Ninja could be a good option here. I wonder if Ninja will open to try and hit the boss, or if he's going to open as if to freeze on auto. Yeah, I'm just curious to see. I mean, Ninja's still got an affinity issue, but I'm just curious to see what he does on auto. Just whilst I'm doing some testing. Have I got him quick enough? I might just be too slow. Does the Hefrak nuke come out? Shamal obviously slowing things down. Okay, so he does attack ads. So Ninja could be an option if I speed tune him right. He does decide to attack the ads, and then we get his Howl burn out, which, albeit HP burn is not the way to go here, it's still probably going to be a way to do some damage. Okay, let's see how we do on here. So my Gergo's around 300 speed. And then the next person in your team, in order to do like this crowd control strat, needs to be around 261 to 265 speed. And then you get like the second crowd control and don't let Hefrak have a turn. So yeah, so Ninja is definitely an option as a reasonable crowd control dude here. But even here you can see, you know, we're having to work hard to get back to the Gergo freeze. Having him in the leader position is pretty solid actually with a Shamal in the team pushing his turn meter. But I'm still basically lacking any form of healing. And it's a big problem because we take burns and stuff. Like, it's a massive problem. And yeah, again, I've run out of crowd control there if I'm going on auto. So it's tough. It's really, really tough. Okay, so we're going for a different style of tactic here. I'm going for a block damage from Helicath, followed up, or well, freeze into block damage so that I'm not taking any Hefrak nukes. Emic to try and reduce the cooldown of these guys. And basically, I've got Emic in a reflex set to try and get back to his cooldown as quick as I can. We've still got Shamal in to make sure that we're not taking the fears, because the fears are really the problem. And we're going to try and crowd control and basically come back to the Newt smack as quickly as we can. So freeze, block damage on nice and early. Shamal making sure we're not taking those fears. And even when they come at me, because I've got block damage on, I should be good. And obviously we want to get back to our freeze ability as soon as we can. Just really to stop these guys putting crap stuff on me. So there you go. Freeze comes back out again. We then get a taunt on from Emic. But also just basically we're reducing our cooldown of abilities. Don't care if they've got Unkillable on. I don't want to attack the ads, really. It's more about killing her whilst just blocking damage from anyone else. Freeze comes back again, which is good. We are taking damage. I did actually lose Gergo, so I didn't get my Unkillable back in time. Block damage didn't come back quick enough. See, even like a one heal from with here just makes it a nightmare. Just going to switch to make the Unkillable the first thing that he does. Let's see if this is better, so we're not going straight into the reduced cooldown. Perhaps I used it too early. A cleanse there is a problem. You see that? That cleanse is an issue. So I need one more space in my team. This is the problem. There's a lot to deal with. I could just do with one more spot in my team. So block damage is fine here. We don't take any hits. But now am I about to get block buffs on me? There's the block buffs, which is also a problem without someone with block debuffs. I guess. So we get the reduced cooldown, but the block buffs is still on. We're going to crowd control, which is good. But am I going to remove the block buffs? I think maybe I do remove the block buffs before I try and put block damage on. But you can see I'm now in trouble. Yeah, we're in trouble. What about if Shamal is not in there, but Sifi is in there? Or someone like Manny to potentially, instead of the Emic, could be good. So we don't block the burn coming at us. I'm not really worried about the burn. I don't want to be constantly feared. Fear is a problem here. I don't want fear and I don't want block buffs on me. I guess you could also maybe just try and lock out the enemy team with their abilities. See, we're starting to get fears on already. Block buffs on us, which means we're in trouble. So we kind of need to cycle back to another crowd control. See what I mean? It's just like I could just do with one more space on my team. Get the block damage on, but it didn't land on Emic. Or maybe I just need to speed tune it better. I don't know. It's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a tricky one. Just not quite cycling quick enough to that freeze. Basically, at this point, I've done 0 damage to any enemies. Yeah, I mean, so far, the only way I can feel like it's going to get done is if you are in crazy gear and you're literally like so fast with insta kill stuff. Like you just putting Marius out there and he's going super quick, and then you're resetting the Marius a bunch of times to just nuke down this boss before really anything else happens. As soon as other stuff starts happening, I mean, this boss is back to full health because Withir, if I don't keep Withir crowd controlled the whole time, then she basically just heals, like infinite heals. Yeah, one little heal here is just going to basically be like, yeah, back to full health. I do think the Unkillable is definitely an option. Maybe it's not Helicaf, maybe it's Emic and a Man-Eater, actually. This is kind of, it's got legs. Double Emic. Emic and Man-Eater, I guess that would be covering what I'm doing with both Helicaf and with Sifi. So Man-Eater switching out for those two might be the way here. And then we've got one more space. This is kind of getting it done though. I'm already 3 minutes in though, and I guess yeah, maybe it's Man-Eater instead of Sifi and Helicaf, and then I bring in another crowd control champ that's a bit slower. Let's try that. Right, so I've gone double crowd control. I've actually taken Gurgo out of this strat because he outruns his buffs. He outruns his ability to be unkillable, which is a massive problem. So Mikage's coming in his place. Does mean that I might have an affinity problem here, but we're basically going to be going for Archer and Mikage as two crowd control champions. I've got two people in the team that are doing unkillable, and I've got two people in the team doing crowd control, and just a lone ranger up front here doing damage. Mikage died because she also outrun her unkillable. Okay, let's just switch up what she does. I can't have a change in forms, so let's not do that. Just change form and never change back. Always doing your stun when you can. Right, let's try that. Yeah, it's really tough though. Really tough fight. I think there might be something in just having like a crazy cracked team that does, like one smack of enemy max HP hit, like resetting newts over and over again. But I think the gear requirement to do that would be pretty mental, and I think it would be purely manual. So trying to get something where it is full auto has definitely been really tough. But I think this is probably the idea. It just needs to be speed tuned better than what I'm doing right now. But it's like this, like chain crowd control whilst one person is hammering in on the boss, and basically we're keeping block debuffs up as much as we can, and we're keeping unkillable up as much as we can, or basically infinitely. You kind of need it infinitely. Even now, like you can see, because I'm not fully speed tuned here, I'm dicing a little bit with death, not like crazy hard, because I do have a good amount of crowd control constantly rolling in from two champions that do it really well on a low cooldown. But yeah, it's damn tough boss, actually. Really tough boss. So this is about as solid a chance as I think I've had so far. But that ability there to just clean off everything from the enemy and put me in trouble. So it's just whether or not I deal with the problem. So you see there, I've got block buffs now on two of my champs because my speed tuning ran out, which means that somebody can go down. If someone goes down, it's a wipe, which means that you're kind of going on manual, I think, to get this done. Or just, yeah, as I say, better speed tuning. Damn, it's really hard. Anyway, that's going to be it for now for my testing. It's a really, really tough boss, but I'm sure some big brains in the community are going to come up with cool speed tunes along a similar line, but maybe with a little bit more pizzazz than what I'm managing to make here. You know, maybe it's, I don't know, is it someone like Mikage out for a Painkeeper? Yeah, maybe it's something like that. So we're getting another reduced cooldown, almost like the old Helicath strats. Really tough. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. New patches with us. Event Dungeon is hard as nails. I'll see you in the next one.